Well, a very good evening and welcome back in particular to football being played on this side of the Mediterranean after a relatively quiet and football-shaped hole that filled the summer unexpectedly yet again for the third major tournament in the international calendar in a row. But Italian top-flight football is finally back and upon us, with this being the opening weekend. And this game in particular being the penultimate game from the opening weekend, where we have a new season, wiped clean with 20 teams, an enormous collective hope of ambition and optimism lying ahead for each and every one of them. And this time now we are right under the shadow of the Apennines here in the north of Italy, where Bologna welcome Lazio. Jonathan Blakely, your commentator. I'm delighted to be bringing you this live, unofficial audio coverage from this Italian top-flight season opener. With the game available also via your local broadcasting networks and channels. This, though, the live audio service here from Bologna, the Stadio Renato Dell'Ara. Bologna a strong side over recent seasons, but both of these two teams missing out on European football for the coming season in the form of major competitions. So it will just be the domestic calendar ahead for these two sides. And plenty on the line for them, as well as two new managers by way of Domenico Tedesco and Gennaro Gattuso. And they will both be looking to hit the ground running as firmly as possible. Well, the two-team lineups then, they are as follows for Domenico Tedesco and Bologna, his first home game in charge in the competitive Italian league season. Naming Luka Skorupski, the experienced goalkeeper between the sticks, the Polish international, and then bringing a debut on for two players into the starting 11 with Usama El Azouzi and Roberto Piccoli making their way into Domenico Tedesco's starting 11. So the 11 then for Bologna is Skorupski in goal with Zaretta, Helland, Hegem and Miranda at the back. The midfield three of Erdgaard, El Azouzi and the Scottish international Lewis Ferguson. With Roberto Piccoli playing the lone striker, flanked either side by captain Riccardo Orsolini and Niccolò Cambiaghi. Well, for Gennaro Gattuso, a man who needs little introduction for those of an Italian footballing persuasion, whether it be internationally or domestically, a man who is not afraid to face big challenges that lie ahead, more than willing to take the bull by the horns on more than one occasion over the course of his career, now sitting in the dugout for the capital side. And he also brings a couple of debutants into his starting 11, three to be precise, with Danilo Doki, Alfonso Pedrazza and Boulay Dia making their way into the starting 11 for I Biancocelesti this evening. It's Christos Mandas, the Greek international, towering goalkeeper between the sticks for him, with Pedrazza, Grosgaard, Durkee and Marusic at the back. And then Kenneth Taylor, brace goal scorer here last season. He will play in the midfield alongside Rovella and Deli Bashiru. And then Takajani, the captain, with Dia and Cancellieri also in the midfield. This should be a good contest, really. This is the 167th meeting between Bologna and Lazio. Bologna edging that by one more victory from Lazio, 61-60 with 45 draws in total, but it's a far more dominant showing here in Bologna. 45 victories of 83 matches played for the home side, with the Lazio fans travelling well the 189-mile journey as the crow flies between Rome and Bologna, despite continued issues off the field for the team from the capital. Claudio Lotito purchasing Regina in the summer, and the fans showing a strong case of a boycott, most recently in home games. A number of their fans, an expected 90% minimum, boycotting, turning up until this man leaves the hierarchical high points of Lazio. But a good little travelling support here, a pocket of sky blue in the big famous stadium here with the chimney at the back, host of European football last season. But no European football for either sides, with both sets of teams now out on the field going over the customary proceedings of the pictures before the first game of the season for them. And a chance for both sides to focus domestically on the task at hand. Well, the referee and the officials for the game this evening, Fabio Maresca is the referee, with assistants Dario Secchioni and Andrea Bianchini. The fourth official, Ermanno Feliciani, with VAR Alejandro Di Paolo and Luca Massimi, the assistant VAR. Lazio sporting their all-white chain strip this evening with Bologna's iconic blue and burgundy coloured striped shirts with naval shorts and naval socks. A good crowd here for the league opener in the Italian top flight. Whole host of fixtures already kicked off, with one other fixture tonight, the other side from the capital, Roma hosting Fiorentina. That one coming right after this game tonight. And for the opening of the season, Udinese one apiece, held to a draw with Como, and last season's champions Inter Milan 4-1 victory, a strong win against Monza, freshly promoted to the Italian top flight. Parma losing at home to Cagliari 1-0, and Genoa forcing to a 2-0 defeat at home against Napoli. And then Lecce got off to a great start against newly promoted Venezia, a 2-0 victory away up on the canals yesterday. Juventus 1-0 winners against Frosinone. And then AC Milan, Amorim's first game in charge for the red and black side of Milan, a 2-1 victory away at Torino, and Atalanta last night 2-1 victors against Sassuolo. But we are looking at two sides who will be looking once again to play European football this coming season, and it looks like it is going to be Bologna that are going to get us underway. Roberto Piccolo, the ball placed down almost quite delicately at his feet by the girl who brought the ball onto the field. Here in Bologna, one of the oldest educational cities on the planet, the home of the oldest university, 1088. And so many famous Italian sources of inspiration from global years here today as well. The home of Bolognese, if you're an American listening by any chance. But I'll argue that's not an Italian delicacy, but the delicacy in here is just kicking off now on the field. It will be Bologna kicking from right to left. And Lazio in their all bright, striking white away strip, well, they will be kicking from left to right. So Tedesco versus Gattuso. Fiery dugout always expected with Gattuso down there, failing to get the Azzurri into the big party over the summer for the third successive tournament in a row. Walking away from those duties, many people surprised at how quickly he had a job come his way after that failure to get Italy to the big one in North America this summer. But a chance for him to potentially right some wrongs in a managerial stake. Also still a lot of people questioning if he has the ability to be a manager at a top level as of yet, in comparison to his glittering club and international career. Many a medal adorned around the neck of the fiery central midfielder. He's also very much adored in the UK as well with Rangers. As Bologna now hold the ball up, sending a ball long up the left-hand side of the field into the Lazio half. Good pressure in the end there, though, put on by Cambiaghi, and just a little too aggressive in the eyes of Fabio Maresca, as Lazio win themselves a free kick. And all the Lazio fans now swinging their shirts in the air, jumping up and down. There might be questions about the support for Lazio at home in the Olimpico, but there is certainly no question of the support from those fans making that journey up from the capital. It's a lovely sunny evening here tonight in Bologna as well. Bright sunny skies, with the sun gracing the further stand with that chimney breast on the opposite side to where the dugouts are. Domenico Tedesco, Italian-born German national manager though, and a real chance for him to take on a team that always have a lot of crackling ambition behind them with every season that comes along. In particular last season as well, the last few years, Champions League, Europa League, strong times in big Italian football and European nation tournaments. But for Bologna, when it's all about the domestic calendar this season for them, and it is for Lazio as well, Mandas in that bright green luminous goalkeeper strip, just rolling the ball underfoot. As Lazio now get themselves back on the ball here. Doki getting his first few touches for Lazio in the domestic calendar. This the live unofficial audio of this Italian penultimate opening weekend game here between Bologna and Lazio. The service also available via your national broadcasters as well. And dangerous ball played back towards Skorupski. Has to be careful just about finding in the end Hegem. Bologna playing themselves out of a little bit of trouble there, deep inside of their own penalty area. And cheaply given away straight towards Deli Bashiru, but a foul coming in the end there with the referee pulling back for a Bologna free kick. This one 15 yards inside their own half on this nearer side of the field. A little bit too aggressive there in the end for Marusic, the Montenegro international. Always strong and looking to get some bite about him after feeling the full effects of attack a little too aggressively just moments ago. Skorupski sending a ball long up towards the centre circle. Piccoli just looking to get his time on the ball at the moment, making his debut today. Arriving in and giving away a foul in the process, refusing to give the ball towards... and holding on to it for dear life really as well. Kenneth Taylor snatching the ball from the Italian striker. The referee just having to tell the players to calm down a little bit here at the moment. It has been quite a feisty start here towards the opening 5 minutes. Bologna 0, Lazio 0. On the other side of the capital, Roma, well, they will be kicking off after this against Fiorentina, bringing the opening weekend of the Italian top flight to a close. As Lazio now have the ball with Dia, laid off cue towards Taylor, sending a ball long towards the edge of the area, but coming out Skorupski. Brilliant interception there from the Polish international, looking to latch onto the ball before Cancellieri could get there first, and doing just that as well. As Durkee now has the ball 10 yards inside of the Lazio half with a short pass back inside towards Ravella, commanding player in the middle for Lazio. Mandas, the tall, towering Greek international. It is two tall goalkeepers as well, in particular for Christos Mandas. It's a giant figure and in the brightest, luminous colour, almost like the highlighter pens that I've got surrounding me at the moment. But now here is Marusic, 10 yards inside the Bologna half up the right-hand side, squared infield towards Deli Bashiru, going down, but the referee having to call play back now, looking for the free kick. Cambiaghi, the guilty party. And a free kick then in a position of some threat here for Lazio. Just over midway through the Bologna half, up this nearer side of the field. Lazio attacking the stand towards where their travelling support are currently situated, still bouncing up and down, swinging their shirts in the air. It is going to be left for Zaccani to take this free kick for Lazio. A couple of players stood nearest by though for Bologna. The captain Orsolini, the nearest to his fellow captain opposite. This one to be a right-footed ball then swung in towards and away from the box. Everyone lined up almost hugging the D. That ball right-footed, further side of the box and headed away in the end, still not quite convincingly cleared. Lazio with the ball to the left edge of the area but dispossessed, and now a chance for Ferguson to break away himself up the right-hand side for Bologna. Carrying the ball underfoot with a little short right-hand pass towards Zaretta. Brilliant continuation here for Bologna and into the box, but just over the head of Piccoli, leaping up in the air from the ball played in by Nadir Zaretta, and a brilliant chance for Bologna to try and catch Lazio on the counter, but not quite able to find the head of the man on loan. So nearly finding that connection. Another player on the bench who could make his debut is Dovbyk, signed on loan from Lazio's rival Roma in the summer, the big, tall Ukrainian striker. Just shy of 6'5". And that ball almost felt like it was more destined for a tall Ukrainian rather than the man on loan from Juventus. Long ball played though, but far too heavy. Going to go comfortably towards the Greek international instead. This beautiful city of Bologna, with a stadium that almost matches the aesthetic of the city itself, that clay look, the red brick image. I said, home to the oldest university in the world as well. You can keep your Cambridge and your Oxford, because we're in Bologna. And now breaking up the left-hand side, deep into territory now is Dia, into the box. Lazio with a chance and just going wide of the target. Zaccagni there with an opportunity inside of the box, but that right-footed effort just bouncing a yard or two wide of the further post. Lukas Skorupski more than happy to watch that one go wide of the target as well, but that was a great break up the further side. Bouladia, another debutant this evening. 5 of them on the field in total across the 22. And again, cheaply given away there, straight towards Ravella, midway inside of the Bologna half. Lazio now on the ball. Deli Bashiru taking the ball to the right with a short pass infield towards Cancellieri. And Ravella just being brought down in the end by Ødegaard. Frustrations potentially creeping in a little bit here for Bologna early on in the contest. But Lazio with plenty to try and make up for after that, well, almost, it has to be said, embarrassing exit in the Coppa Italia at the weekend. That 2-0 defeat for them against the side Mantova. A real heartbreaker of a situation for them, and again in front of a crowd that was actually more dominant by following supporters from the away side rather than the home end. Those protests continuing, and they will continue to do just that. Strong statement from the Lazio season ticket holders. And again, another free kick being given away. This one 15 yards further into the Bologna half, hugging the left-hand touchline. With Valazuzzi going a little bit too aggressively through the back of Prostgaard in the end. So Bologna still continue to camp themselves inside of their own half. Lazio with plenty more time and joy on the ball in the opening 10 minutes. Still goalless between Bologna and Lazio. This, the penultimate game of the opening weekend in the Italian top flight. And again, another late rash challenge. Lazio winning yet another free kick. I keep forgetting about this with Italian football. It's one of the delights of this league. As you get these wonderful little VAR cams on the screens in front of you from the referee's perspective. And he's had to get involved a fair few times already, Fabio Maresca, this evening with both sets of players. Not normally a referee who's considered one to brandish cards left, right and centre. But that will potentially be tested if it continues in this vein for the next 80 minutes or so. As Lazio now on the ball just outside of their own penalty area with Mandas, right-footed ball sent out, chipped to the further side of the field. Lazio still looking to hold the ball up as best as they can, but that one cheaply given away. But Orsolini just can't find the ball inside towards Piccoli. As Lazio take no chances, clearing their lines long, finding the big head of Hegem, heading the ball back in towards the Lazio half. Deli Bashiru now, ball up the right-hand side of the field and looking to keep the ball in play, Cancellieri, but going out from the touchline instead. Going to be a throw-in for the home side, deep inside of their own half. This famous Italian stadium, that archetypal bowl shape, with that gorgeous chimney breast right down the centre. The sun continuing to caress that further side of the field. And Lazio once again winning the ball far too easily as well this time. As Prostgaard plays the ball up to Dia. Lazio midway inside the field. Plenty of time whenever they get on the ball as well. Bologna not quite sharp enough to shut down those white shirts as of yet. Prostgaard sends up to the left-hand side, midway inside the Bologna half. Lazio looking to cut in here with Zaccagni, chipping a delicate ball out to the right-hand side of the field. Good touch by Cancellieri, looking to take the ball towards the penalty area. Crossfield, back to the left. Pedrazza, good touch, in towards the box. Low shot down, but only finding the feet of Valazuzzi in the end, clearing the ball away as Lazio continue to pile the pressure on Bologna inside of their own third. Lazio again with another opportunity to try and put further pressure on Bologna as the referee raises his hand in the air to do the countdown. This is something that is going to be seen far and wide across the football season. New rules and regulations being brought in to try and speed up play. Dangerous ball looped into the box. Bologna still not quite able to deal with this, and clumsily given away there now for a corner instead. Hegum and Skorupski coming together, unsure who was going to deal with that chipped ball long in towards their penalty area. And in the end, taking no chances whatsoever, the Polish goalkeeper, sending it away for a corner. The first corner of the evening here to be taken on this nearer side for Lazio. And it's going to be Matteo Cancellieri to take this one. Left-footed ball swung in towards the box before the referee comes in to have a word or two, seeming to be there with Boulaye Dia. Can be a bit of a menace as well, Dia, the Senegalese former international. Big physical presence as well. Vast experience now. That corner swung in to the near post, not clearing the first man. And do they get another bite of the cherry as the ball comes back out towards Cancellieri? Wonderful footwork, taking the ball to the right side of the box. Still, strike low off the edge of the area, but far too easy to deal with there for Skorupski in the end. Lazio again looking to mount even more of a charge. This opening game, 3 shots total they've had now in the game, just one of them on target, that one just then from Cancellieri. Bologna yet to really test the Lazio third, but now with the ball midway inside the Lazio half up this left hand side. It's Ferguson, plays in towards El Azzouzi in the centre circle, back to the Scottish international. And then back into the centre circle again now, finding Helland. Lazio far more aggressive with the press than Bologna are at the moment in this game, especially in the first 15 minutes or so. Still goalless between Bologna and Lazio. And again there, good pressure being put in there, this time from Kenneth Taylor. Really was a thorn in the Bologna side the last time these two played here. That one a 2-0 victory last season. Mandas just having to deal with a ball looping, catching a bit with the bounce. But Piccoli couldn't quite get there in the end before the Greek international could. And again, another good aggressive shutdown. Bologna having to try and scrape to find passes midway inside of their own half. This time taking no chances. Hegum back towards Lucas Skorupski. And Bologna now yet again taking their time. And Lazio this time dropping off that little bit more. And as said just moments ago, the referees are going to have to be strict on countdowns as well. There's going to be a lot more referees' arms raised in the air with 5-second countdowns coming for throw-ins, corners, goal kicks, and especially for substitutions as well. That is the big one. For those of you that aren't aware, substitutions taking longer than 10 seconds. That player has to wait to come on for at least a whole minute before he's allowed to join the field of play. So that means that that team would be down to 10 men. Lazio far too easy to win the ball back though, midway inside the Bologna half. Deli Bashiru out to the right towards Cancellieri. Short pass back towards Marusic, but that one easily given away himself. And is there a chance now for Bologna to break up this left-hand side? Cambiaghi carrying the ball in towards the box, but a wonderful slide tackle in from behind, dispossessing there Marusic, just making up for his error. And it's going to be a corner for I Rossoblu. But it was an excellent track back in the end from the Montenegro international. Charging in from behind and had to get that slide tackle spot on in the penalty area. Doing just that, and it is going to be a corner though for Bologna, their first corner of the evening. And it's going to be Juan Miranda signing that extension in the summer, 2-year extension as well. This one to be a left-footed ball swung away from the goal, but before doing that the referee again having to come in and have a word with a little cluster of players gathered around the penalty spot, most notably in Nicolo Ravella and Kenneth Taylor. And this one now to be swung low to the near post, struck first time, but that one just a couple of yards wide. Piccoli looking to get a goal on his home debut in the domestic calendar. But it was a real driven low ball in towards the near side of the box from Miranda. More than enough pace to beat any players nearest to it, but first time swipe of the ball on the volley, just going a couple of yards wide of the near post. And in the end, Mandas not quite troubled, and Marusic is now down at the moment, potentially now needing to receive some treatment as well. brilliant recovery that he had just moments ago after giving the ball away to Cambiaghi. Well, this will not be good news potentially here for Gattuso. He does have a couple of options on the bench by fullbacks by way of Tavares and Lazzari, as well as Floriani, Mussolini. But now up to his feet, Marusic, and he now too, with the new rules, will have to wait a full minute before being allowed back onto the field at the referee's discretion, again looking to try and eliminate cases of time wasting or anything like that. And Gattuso is almost gesturing down to some of the players that are warming up down on this right side towards the Lazio travelling support. And we are going to see that change now being made, and it is going to be Floriani Mussolini. And Marusic, well, his race is run early here this evening in Bologna. It's a real shame because he's been a live wire in the opening 15 or so minutes. But Floriani coming on then in place of Marusic. And that first change forcibly being made for Gattuso. And that is not what anybody really wants to see on the opening weekend of a league season. Just pulled up almost unexpectedly, maybe from the slide tackle down. Really had to stretch to get him from behind as well. As Lazio now send a long ball deep into the Bologna half up the right-hand side. Here's Floriani with his first touches since coming on. The early introduction substitution just then from the Montenegro international Adam Marusic. As Lazio now have the ball with Doki, squared to the left towards Profsgaard, still inside their own half. Long clipped ball with the left foot up the channel. Cute touch and field from Zaccani. Dia showing an option, but instead finding the ball out towards Cancellieri. 10 yards from the box. Left-footed shot from range, but always sailing over the bar as soon as it left the foot of Matteo Cancellieri. As again, Lazio continue to look to pile more and more pressure on Bologna. But no real chance of worthy note as of yet for Biancocelesti. And what Gattuso would give for a strong season with Bologna after that heartache with the Italian national side. Missing out for the third successive season in a row for the world's biggest stage. And so back to the drawing board it goes for Italy and the national team. They look to get themselves there in 4 years' time in Portugal, Spain and Morocco. And again, another cheap free kick given away by Yen Erdgaard. 20 minutes gone here then in Bologna. Bologna nil, Lazio nil. Lazio the side slightly further on top, but an early change. Marusic off injured for Floriani. This opening weekend of the Italian top flight season, the penultimate game of that weekend as well here. This live unofficial audio coverage brought to you from Bologna, with the game available via live broadcasters, via television networks as well, but this one the live audio service. And what has been a game dominated by Lazio in all forms of possession attempts as well, with Bologna still just trying to find their paces under their own new manager in Domenico Tedesco. Bologna dominant in this fixture here at home, and we have seen the first card, and it has gone to the new man on the field, Floriani. He's only been on the field a matter of minutes, and just giving a foul away and receiving a yellow card. He's barely been on around 2 or 3 minutes, but going straight through the back of Cambiaghi to try and win the ball back, and in doing so receiving a yellow card in the process. Fabio Maresca taking no chances whatsoever in giving him time to get into the game. As Lewis Ferguson is stood over this, and the referee now coming over to this nearer side as well. Looks like a replacement of a whistle potentially from the fourth official, Ermanno Feliciani. You've got to make sure you're heard, especially in Italian football. The fans can be somewhat loud. So Fabio Maresca there just doing his duty, doing the swap with Ermanno Feliciani. As Bologna get us back underway, sending a ball up the right-hand side of the field, long chasing ball, Piccoli to chase there, getting there first as well. Laid in field towards the captain, Orsolini, now back towards El Azzurri, off the box on the D, wonderful piece of footwork and passing this one as El Azzurri looks to try and break in, the referee allowing play to continue and continuing to allow further tackles to go in as Lazio dispossess, sending a ball long up the right-hand side, but far too easy and cheap to give away for the quick throw-in for Bologna. midway inside the Lazio half, hugging this left-hand touchline. El Azzurri on the deck, into the centre circle, finding Helland in plenty of space before Dia comes to put the pressure on himself. Ferguson squaring the ball out to the left. Bologna's passes interlinking more and sending a ball up the right-hand side towards Miranda, keeping the ball off the byline, low into the box at the near side, but a big outstanding foot there in the way for Lazio, and a foul being given away. It is going to be a free kick for Lazio. This one a couple of yards off their own penalty, off the Lazio penalty area. And Yen Odegaard thought he was going to get there first, getting a foot in front of Deli Bashiru. A number of the Bologna players insistent that one should have been a free kick for them and not for Lazio. Yen Odegaard getting a big foot in front, but it is Deli Bashiru in the end, non-Nigerian, getting there first. So Bologna there with their first real look of any sort of threat inside of the Lazio third, but not quite able to make it count for anything. With the sun still shining down, beating down here in Bologna. This game at the Stadio Renato Dell'Ara. And the ball sent long there from Christos Mandas, the Greek international, to the right-hand side of the Bologna half. Bologna just trying to string together a few more passes at the moment. They found it difficult as of yet. A few of them looking there for a potential foul on the high foot, but that's time given away. Dia just going through the back of Hegem in the end. And it's going to be a Bologna free kick, 15 yards inside their own half towards this nearer side of the field. Now Lewis Ferguson takes quickly enough, squared back towards Helland, and again a further high press being put on Kenneth Taylor, leading the charge, the Dutchman. Cambiaghi bringing the ball in field with the ball sprayed out to the further side, inside of their own half, still on the ball. The Lazio press continues to come now off their own D, and that one cheaply there given away by El Azzurri. Zaccani getting there first, the captain sweeping up on the loose pass from the debutant Usama El Azzurri. Man arrived on loan in the summer. With Lazio now back on the ball, 25 minutes gone in Bologna, goalless. Lazio with a few more chances of note. Bologna without any threat whatsoever so far. They had one good chance with the first time strike of the ball from Piccolo, but that one going 3 or so yards away from the nearest side. Lazio just with the one shot on the target throughout the game so far of all the attempts. Certainly seeing a lot more possession in the process as well. And this opening weekend drawing to its conclusion later on this evening in the capital. The Lazio rivals Roma playing at home against Fiorentina. There are many that think that Roma could be a side with a real shout of being a team to watch and consider this season. They've got themselves Champions League football for the first time in a number of years. European big nights await in the capital once again. They won't be coming Lazio's way. Finishing 9th last season, one place behind Bologna outside of the European spots. As Ferguson sends a long ball upfield for Piccoli to chase, but Doki seeing no trouble whatsoever in sending that one away. The big Dutch international centre-back, Danilo Doki. And a strong tackle from Ferguson right on Deli Bashiru in the middle of the park. Ferguson always looking to try and utilise his strength and his aggression whenever he can, whether that's here for Bologna or Scotland. One of the Scottish players of real form that have been grown to be loved here in Italy. As well, the likes of Scott McTominay as well. And we are going to see a hydration break, or a cooling break as they're calling it, of its own kind here on the 26th minute. Whether it's going to be 3 minutes that we saw in the summer, I doubt that very much. There won't be as much advertising either, but here is currently goalless between Bologna and Lazio in this live unofficial audio coverage of this Italian top flight penultimate game of the opening weekend of the season. Number of fixtures kicking off as well across the weekend. Udinese won apiece with Como. Inter, the champions from last year, 4-1 winners against newly promoted Monza. Parma falling to a 1-0 defeat at home against Cagliari, and Genoa 2-0 loss for them at home against Napoli. And then yesterday on the Sunday, Venezia, with their first game back in the top flight, a 2-0 defeat at home against Lecce. Juventus 1-0 winners at Frosinone. AC Milan 2-1. Ruben Amorim, first victory for him for the red and black side of AC Milan. And Atalanta 2-1 winners against Sassuolo. So over the opening weekend, just two sides in home fixtures winning those games. 5 victories for away teams. Well, for Bologna in particular, the opening weekend of the season has never really been their most welcoming of fixtures, to be precise. A number of times for them, the opening weekend of the season comes with a defeat far more often than not. Just winning 2 of their last 16 opening games of the Italian League season. 5 draws and 9 defeats, the other ones. Their last opening game victory coming back in the 2021-22 season. So what they would give to change those fortunes here tonight against a side who so many are uncertain on how they're going to do this year. Nobody wants to talk about off-field matters in football, but it has to be addressed. With Claudio Lotito and the dismay that he's caused amongst those I Bianco Celesti faithful, of which there is a wonderful travelling number of them, still with their shirts off down here. They were firmly on throughout the build-up to the game, but they were off very quickly as soon as the game kicked off. And I don't blame them, it's a warm day here. The hydration break is now finished and we are back underway. Understandably as well, Fabio Maresca looking for a hydration break. Looking at temperatures, highs today of around a low 30s, 28 degrees Celsius right now at the moment as well. It is a warm evening here, Monday night in Bologna. The wonderful cobbled streets, the red and brown brick buildings leading here towards the Stadio Renato Dell'Ara, as Lazio now leading up the right-hand side of the field in towards the Bologna half. Ravella looking to square a ball back with Floriani getting there first. Bologna now turning the screw a little bit more in terms of their need to try and break through. And Dia now breaking in one-on-one and putting it low in towards the goal. But the assistant's flag surely to be raised on this nearer side. And there it does go up as well in the end. Boula Dia seemingly knew that he was offside as the ball was played through. He was must have been a good 4 or 5 yards offside as well. Striking the ball down in towards the surface here in Bologna. But the assistant's flag raised as soon as the ball left the foot of the Senegalese striker. As Bologna do get us back underway. 30 minutes gone then. Bologna 0, Lazio 0. One early change made for Gennaro Gattuso, with Adam Marusic coming off with an injury on the 15th minute for Floriani. And just minutes later, the new man on the field picking up the first and only yellow card of the game so far. This the 167th meeting between Bologna and Lazio, with Bologna registering just one more victory than their opponent, 61-60. And in particular here at home, 45 victories to Lazio's 18. The Lazio 2-0 winners here last season. A brace for the Dutchman Kenneth Taylor. Wonderful play there though from Deli Bashiru, sending the ball up to the left hand side of the field for Pedraza to try and chase and put further pressure on, winning a throw in the process, taking it quickly back towards Deli Bashiru. As Lazio now have the ball midway inside the Bologna half, up that left hand side. Back in towards Danilo Doki, making his official domestic debut for Lazio this evening. A big season lies ahead. This the first of 38 games. Well, the next fixture's coming up for either of these two sides. Lazio, well, they will play host to Genoa, and Bologna with a tricky game up towards Bergamo, away game against Atalanta. That one also happening next Monday evening. That one, the later kick-off. With Lazio's game, the evening kick-off this coming Sunday against Genoa. Strong start to the season for the defending champions Inter Milan. That 4-1 victory, cementing their staking, looking to yet again reclaim ownership of a Scudetto title into just one of two sides winning on the opening weekend of the season. Atalanta and Inter being those two sides. And a bit of a coming together here from El Azzurri and Boulaye Dia. And getting a little bit close for comfort. Dia raising a hand up towards El Azzurri, pushing his face away. And Fabio Maresca coming over here now with a yellow card in his hand. And we'll have to see what he's going to do here with this, because the two players squaring right up like a boxer's face-off. Pointing straight towards Boulaye Dia to bring him over as well. Looks to be a yellow card coming for the Senegalese. As well as it looks like for Oussama El Azzurri. So the two debutants this evening looking like they're about to receive yellow cards from Fabio Maresca. Smiling at each other now. It's all smiles once the referee sees what's going on, isn't it? But the referee thinking otherwise in the end, as the yellow cards are now brandished for both Boulaye Dia and Oussama El Azzurri, still having a word with one another. It all seems very friendly, but you can never really tell, can you, unless you're down there. From this vantage point, there do seem to be smiles on faces. It's Boulaye Dia just looking to try and dispossess El Azzurri in the middle of the park, pulling back on the Moroccan. The two just coming together in the end. Well, quite interestingly enough, we've just seen on the little screen Gennaro Gattuso, of all people down there, the one to tell them to calm down. Of all the people down there, the least likely source of calming minds and notions seems to be that of Gennaro Gattuso. Maybe he's softened up in his managerial years in Italian football, as Bologna now have the ball approaching the final 10 minutes of the first 45 here at the Stadio Renato Dell'Ara. Goalless between Bologna and Lazio, the penultimate game of the opening weekend in the Italian top flight. These two with just domestic games to look forward to for the remainder of the season. No European football for either of them. Well, Bologna have had a very poor build-up to pre-season as well. 2 defeats for them, a loss away on the south coast in England against Brighton before this season kicked off properly. As they look to try and get themselves underway with Domenico Tedesco now at the helm. Well, for Lazio, a slightly different tale as well, with that a strong pre-season to be precise. Winning all 5 of their games in pre-season. Everything looking to go smoothly until the visit of Mantova in the Italian Cup. 2-0 defeat. A real shock to the system for Lazio in a game that, again, attendance of just under 6,000 that game. But a very strong travelling support coming up, I should say, from the capital this evening. Bologna now with the ball, right edge of the Lazio half, shot from the edge of the box and taking a deflection off the back of the foot of Profsgaard, and that one is going to go up for a corner. That one almost uncertain which way it was going to bounce. It was a good direct charging run from Zaretta, but a big heel in the way from Oliver Profsgaard in the end, just sending the ball deflecting the other side of the post, and it had Manda scrambling on his goal line. And so another chance from a corner from Bologna. This one the first corner to be taken up the further side of the field for the home team, towards that stronghold cohort of Bologna fans. Flag still waving furiously into the final 10 minutes. The referee again having to come and address the cluster around the box. This ball to be swung in and away from the goal. It's going to be Lewis Ferguson to take this corner, right-footed. It's Ferguson drilled low to the near side of the 6-yard area, dealt with in the end though with enough ease by Taylor. Still Bologna look to come and put the pressure on. Right edge of the box, edging towards the byline, low to the near post, flick at the back heel, but not quite able to guide it there. Jen Erdgaard, not enough power or pace on the back flick, straight to the hands of Christos Mandas in the end. And it was a cute opportunity there from Jen Erdgaard, the ever-present Danish runner. We'll wait to see what changes or things might need to be said or addressed at half-time for both managers. Lazio seemingly that little bit more in control, but since the hydration break, Bologna have grown a little bit more confident in this game. Long ball sent up the left-hand side. Putting the chase on is Pedrazza, bundling down to the deck from Orsolini, and it is going to be a free kick, as well as an offside flag being raised on this nearer side by the assistant Dario Secchioni. As Pedrazza, the one deemed to be offside, just bundling down through the back of the captain Riccardo Orsolini in the end. But a free kick being given for Bologna midway inside of their own half. A game with little to shout about by way of any form of chances for either team in this live unofficial audio coverage from the Italian domestic top flight opening weekend. With the game available via your live broadcasting channels as well. Bologna 0, Lazio 0. Just one shot on target all game for Lazio. Yet to register one for Bologna as of yet. Cute turn in the middle there though in the end from Cancellieri, taking the ball up, sprayed to the right. Floriani looking to keep the ball alive in the corner flag. First time into the box, big interception from Miranda, going out for a corner for Lazio, looking to catch on the counter. And can Lazio make this corner count for something as we're nearing the 40th minute of the first half here? Lazio yet to really put a testing corner in towards the box. Bologna far more ambitious and likely with their balls in from the corner flag. They will need to again speed up the process of taking corners. If you take too long in the eyes of the referee and he puts that hand in the air and brings it down from 5-0, the punishment is a goal kick to the other team, and there does go Fabio Maresca's hand in the end. So this corner will need to be taken quickly. Laid short instead towards Zaccani. 10 yards from the edge of the box, 1-2 back to the captain, right side of the area, in towards the box, and a big interception in the end, going out for yet another corner. And I think that one there just striking the underside in the end for Bologna's player Miranda, just going down winded, holding the lower side of his stomach. Miranda, who did clear the ball away for the initial corner just moments ago, slow to get back up to his feet. So Lazio again with another opportunity to play a corner in towards the box. No side yet to really test the goal convincingly as of yet, but that could all change here. 1-2 back towards Cancellieri, leaving a foot in the end. It's going to be a free kick for Lazio, and we're going to see yet another yellow card, the fourth of the first half. And a free kick then for Lazio, this one around 5 yards from the byline. Cancellieri just brought down in the end by Cambiaghi. Cambiaghi with his arms raised out wide, claiming innocence, but very little innocence to be seen from all the way up here. So this to be a free kick. 5 yards from the byline and 5 yards or so from the touchline here on this nearer side for Lazio. Taken in the corner of the field where the Lazio fans letting off flares and gathering a lot more momentum and continue. They have done all game long, in fairness, the Lazio fans. Brilliant travelling support from the capital. A 189-mile journey as the crow flies north-east up into the city of Bologna. But it is going to be Pedrazza to take this free kick then. This one to be a left-footed ball, almost level with where the 6-yard area is. Pedrazza low inside, but again another poor ball played in. Lazio's balls in towards the box from corners or that free kick there have failed to beat the first man every single time as of yet. As Ravella has the ball just inside of his own half, carrying the ball underfoot towards the left-hand side of the field before squaring short towards Profsgaard. Into the final 5 minutes then, goalless between Bologna and Lazio. Surely to be a good 3 or so minutes of time minimum added on at the end of the 45, given the hydration break and the injury for Marusic, as Lazio look to break themselves but cheaply giving the ball away. Orsolini laying the ball up the left-hand side of the field into the Lazio half. One touch though from Piccoli, waiting for reinforcements to come in as Cancellieri gives the free kick away, quickly taken by Ødegaard. Squared on the left towards Cambiaghi. Midway inside of the Lazio half, short back towards Ferguson, squared in field now towards El Azzurri, dead centre of the Lazio half. But Bologna take no chances and go back to plenty of space being found in the centre-backs of Helland and Hegem. Now squared out to the left-hand side of the field. Cambiaghi looking to break up that left-hand side. Little chances to do so as of yet. Plenty more joy up the right for Bologna. Lazio now holding a little bit of a defensive fort into the final couple of minutes of the first 45 here. Bologna 0, Lazio 0. Hegem scrambling to keep the ball in play up this near side. Big foot in the way. Referee allowing play to continue as Cambiaghi looks to break away himself, being tripped and caught from behind. And we're going to see yet another yellow card. That's the 5th of the afternoon. This one coming from Cancellieri. The Gattuso effect is being laid on the field, it seems, and not just off. 5 yellow cards in the first half. Fabio Maresca's record last season was no more than 5 cards average per game. Well, he's got 5 brought out within the first half here in Bologna. It has been a relatively feisty first half. There's been little instant by way of chances towards either goal, but there's been a lot of combativeness in the middle of the park. And that one again there being seen, with the referee now just having a word with a couple of the coaches, and I think a coach for Bologna might have been sent in towards the down the tunnel, and I believe he has as well. It's continuing to spill over now, and it is a red card that has been brandished to one of the Bologna coaches. They always seem to claim innocence, don't they, as well, because the referee always lifts a card somewhat aimlessly towards a bench, and everyone looks at each other and goes, well, who was it? As one of Bologna's coaching staff continuing to protest, receiving a round of applause from the fans on the tunnel below and between the two dugouts. As we are now about to approach the 45th minute, and this now a free kick in a position of some threat for Bologna. This one around 15 yards or so away from the very left corner of the box. Both Ferguson and Orsolini stood over this free kick, and it is Ferguson laying down the foundations on the ball, seemingly last here, the Scottish international. Orsolini, though, stepping up, taking it first time, taking a deflection, but taking all the sting out of that delivery in, finding Mandas at his nearest post. As all eyes now turn to the 4th official, Ermanno Feliciani, to see exactly how much time is going to be added at the end of this game. Or this first half, sorry. It's going to be 4 minutes of time added on. So 4 minutes to be played here for the remainder of the first half at the Stadio Renato De Lara. Deadlock yet to be broken. Been a physical game, 5 yellow cards so far, and again another foot left in late from Miranda, finding Deli Bashiru back on the ball now, the Nigerian, just under no pressure whatsoever, with Cambiaghi going down, holding the back of his head, and the referee now just coming over to check on Nicolo Cambiaghi, who now is sat back right upright. Him and Deli Bashiru coming together, and it seems to be a little bit of a unknowing, flailing right arm catching the lower face of Cambiaghi going down. Cambiaghi thinking there could have been a little bit more potentially than that. And I think the referee there was indicating that it's going to be a ball brought in now for a drop ball. I do miss the days of the drop balls of past, where you had to nominate a player from either side to come together and try and win the ball back ferociously. Instead, it's always elected to just one team to win the ball, taking away the risk of any injuries. But there was always an air of snap, crackle and pop with the old school drop balls played in. If we are going to campaign anything for FIFA to bring back into games, I say bring those back in potential. But Lazio now with the ball, midway inside the Bologna half in the final minutes of stoppage time. 2 minutes of the 4 now being played. Lazio trying to take their time to have the last chance and last say in this half, but that's a poor piece of interception there. Lazio still with the ball, remedied this from Zaccani. Coming in from the byline, chipped in towards the further side of the box, header raised down and just about kept in play from Skorupski there, with Cancellieri rising highest off the further side of the post. Cambiaghi just waiting to receive his instructions to come back onto the field. Ermanno Feliciani, just checking the watch, has said the new rules are a player going off injured that needs treatment to come on. They do have to wait a full minute, and the referee now ushering Cambiaghi to come back onto the field of play. And that said, for people that aren't yet aware, if it's going to be a goalkeeper that goes down, then they have to nominate a player to leave the field for this, as Piccoli comes down, just being brought down from behind by Profsgaard. Right in front of the referee, Piccoli just going down, holding his knee. Seemingly not too much in that, though, from the Danish centre-back. There is a fair amount of height as well for Lazio. Mandas is 6'3", Doki and Profsgaard both 6'4". So if you think about playing looping balls in towards Lazio's penalty area, you've got some towering players who are going to try and negotiate that away, as Bologna look to break and have a chance here towards the end of the game. Carrying the ball further still is Orsolini, still under pressure, but bringing the ball from right to left, seeing the ball out, and it is going to go out for a corner right at the end of play. As the referee now, we are into the final minute of the 4, and this surely to be the last chance of the game for either side. Bologna now with this corner towards that stronghold, home support for Bologna fans. Will Bologna be the ones to take the lead right at the end of the first half here? This corner taken on the left-hand side. It is going to be Miranda. Ferguson coming over, keeping in close counsel. This to be a left-footed ball swung away from the goal. Header, back across, and Mandas taking no chances with a big palm over the bar. Helland rising highest in the end. The Norwegian centre-back pair of Hegem and Helland looking to be a menace for balls like that, and Mandas taking no chances whatsoever, just tapping the ball over the bar. That was so nearly looping over the head of the Greek international. And this corner now taken short towards Ferguson. Just off the box, played back in towards the area, low to the near side of the 6-yard area, headed into the air, no one claiming ownership. Swiped clearance though from Lazio, and the referee now looking to draw this first half to its conclusion, and doing just that. The score here so far, Bologna 0, Lazio 0. A feisty game with 5 yellow cards, an early injury for Marusic being replaced by Floriani on the 15th minute. As the referee now sending both sets of teams down the tunnel to the left-hand side corner of the field here at the Stadio Renato Dallara. A game with little chances whatsoever for either side. One apiece shots on target for both sets of teams. Straight down the middle in terms of possession in 50% apiece. But yet so far for there to be any real notable chance for either team. And what is usually a happy hunting ground in this game for Bologna. The 2 wins from their last opening 16 games of the season means that they're going to have to fare a lot better this time round. It's Bologna 0, Lazio 0. This live unofficial audio coverage of the Italian opening weekend of the season. This is the penultimate game, and we'll bring you the rest of this live audio coverage just before the second half begins. Well, welcome back to live unofficial audio coverage here of tonight's penultimate game in the opening weekend of the Italian top flight here from Bologna, where the score is currently Bologna 0, Lazio 0. A game of little chances for either side so far in the game, but a number of yellow cards as well, and what has been a relatively feisty affair between both sets of teams. It looks like we might even be seeing another change being made, one being forced for Gattuso towards the start of the half, with Adam Marusic coming off after slide tackling from behind to dispossess Cambiaghi after giving the ball away, being replaced by Romano Floriani. And it also looks like we're going to be seeing a change by way of Isaacson, ready to enter the fray, the winger. So we'll see exactly who's going to be coming on for. Cancellieri potentially the most likely one, seeming as there was a yellow card given towards the end of the first half for him. As we await to see exactly who it is that is going to be coming on for, with the fourth official, Ermanno Feliciani, now raising the scoreboard to the sky, and we are going to see further changes being made throughout as well. So this is the second change of the evening. It is Cancellieri in the end, the one whose number was raised, being replaced by Isaacson. So that the second change of the game for Gattuso and Lazio. The referee now just going through the formalities with both sets of teams on the field, and it is going to be Lazio who do get us back underway in the second half, kicking from right to left in their all-white changed strip, with Bologna kicking from left to right in their navy and dark red striped shirts with navy shorts and navy socks here at the Stadio Renato Dell'Ara, the gorgeous old city of Bologna. And an early chance here for Lazio, with Deli Bashiru the near side of the box, but up goes the assistant's flag on the nearer side for the offside being given there. That one coming by way of Floriani as well as Deli Bashiru. So a good early bit of aggression there at the start of the second half for Lazio. Two changes made for them in the game so far. None to be made yet for Domenico Tedesco in his first game in charge of Bologna in front of the home fans here, this domestic opener of the Italian League season. Final game of that opening weekend kicking off later on in the capital. The rivals for Lazio, Roma, taking on Fiorentina, with other games and scores results coming in across the opening weekend. One apiece between Udinese and Como, but Piccolo looking to break away himself and giving a free kick away, just pulling down on Durkee. So a free kick for Lazio midway inside their own half. Inter 4-1 winners against Monza, that one at the San Siro. Parma falling to a 1-0 defeat at home against Cagliari. Napoli 2-0 winners away at Genoa. And then yesterday Venezia losing on the banks and the canals of the river surrounding at home 2-0 to Lecce. Juventus 1-0 winners against Frosinone, Milan 2-1 victory in Turin against Torino, and Atalanta 2-1 winners against Sassuolo. This is the penultimate game of the opening weekend in the Italian top flight. Well, the lineups then they are going to be followed shortly here now, as Ergars carries the ball towards the Lazio penalty area, still continuing to come and driving forwards, knocking Profsgaard down to the deck. Bologna with the ball, left edge of the box, drilled low into the penalty area, but that one not quite able to be dealt with in the end, taking a deflection going out for a corner for Bologna. This one to be taken on the further side quickly enough by Miranda. Bologna getting things back underway. Ferguson back to Miranda on the byline, played back 1-2, Scotsman in towards the box, at the near post, there's the header from Ogard, but not quite found with the follow-up. And again Bologna there, that one the most notable opportunity of the game for either side. It was a wonderful loop ball in towards the penalty area. Jan Ødegaard completely unopposed to head that ball down towards the goal, but read by Mandas with a big right arm stretch from the Greek international. And that one cleared away in there, nearly the dream start for Bologna, a side with so little to be shown in the first half. Nearly kicking off the second half the right way. Lazio putting the pressure on again. So Skorupski in goal for Bologna, with Zaretta, Helland, Hegem and Miranda at the back. Elazouzi, Ødegaard and Ferguson in the midfield, with Orsolini the captain alongside Piccoli and Cambiaghi. And for Lazio, Mandas between the sticks with Pedratta, Profsgar, Durkee and Floriani at the back. Taylor, Ravella and Deli Bashiru in the middle. With Zaccani, the captain, alongside the lone striker, Boulaye Dia, and the substitution made. Cancellieri at half-time coming off for Isaacson. So 2 of the 5 changes made for Lazio, not a single one yet to be made for Domenico Tedesco and Bologna. And many feeling that Artem Dovbyk is going to be the most likely change to come in. A tall, towering Ukrainian on loan from Roma. Always a little bit of spice when rivalries still combine, even when the rivalries aren't being played. Bologna now, left edge of the Lazio box, ball into the area, another deflection being found and another corner to come for Bologna. Driving with a lot more intensity, in particular up the further side of the field where Cambiaghi is operating. Ferguson's dangerous ball looping into the penalty area, but headed down, unopposed by Ergaard, but not quite getting the power behind the header in the end. So this corner now swung to the near post, but cleared away in the end, the nearest side of the 6-yard area with relative ease from Nicolo Ravella. With Bologna themselves taking no chances with the ball all the way back towards Skorupski. Chased and hounded down by Kenneth Taylor in the end. Orsolini swiping a ball high into the Bologna sky. Piccolo heading on further in towards Lazio's half, but the assistant's flag raised on the nearer side. Danilo Doki just plays the ball squared to the left towards Profsgaard, carrying the ball up now in towards the Bologna half. Wonderful run this from the centre-back, chipping a cute ball out to the right-hand side, but not enough spray, only finding Miranda in the end. Bologna back on the ball, midway inside of their own half, with the ball played back into yards and yards of space for the Norwegian centre-backs of Helland and Hegem. Bologna now with more time on the ball. Lazio putting the pressure on immediately, but that one a bit too aggressive from Profsgaard in the end. A free kick for Bologna, 10 yards inside their own half on this nearer side. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Bologna 0, Lazio 0. Just moments ago, Jen Odgaard winning that free kick, but very nearly giving Bologna the lead. Completely free header from a Lewis Ferguson ball looped in towards the box, but read by Christos Mandas in the end. Still, Bologna look to come. The ball laid all the way back towards Hegem. Miranda going down after the late foul, but the referee allowing play to continue. El Azzurri plays the ball up now. Bologna edge of the area, feeding back up to the Moroccan, but a big interception in the end from Ravella. But that one cheaply given away. Can Bologna make this count for something? As Lazio scramble to try and get there first. Ferguson trying to claim a handball for a potential interception in the area. Bologna coming, left edge of the box, played inside to Piccolo, but Piccolo can't quite get the header. Still Bologna look to come. Zoretta laid off with a 1-2 back towards the captain Orsolini, towards the byline. Orsolini chipped to the further side of the box, but headed away in the end. Good pressure this from Bologna, by far their best spell of the evening on this opening weekend of the Italian League season. Ferguson still just having a word with the referee Fabio Maresca, claiming that there should have been a look at a potential handball in the box just moments ago. The referee seemingly waving play on as Bologna look to come again. Hegem carrying the ball underfoot himself in towards the Lazio half. Squaring off to the left-hand side, 1-2 back with the Scotsman Ferguson. And again, Ferguson again. Such a pivotal player for Bologna last year. He's become a real fan favourite for those in this old student town, the oldest university in the world, in Bologna. Fans of the education that they are giving to him, as Orsolini drilled ball into the box, but easily swiped away in the end from Profsgaard. This is far more like it from Bologna. This is like the Bologna of a couple of years ago almost, in particular, as Deli Bashiru has now gone down completely unopposed himself. Those bright red boots striking against the all-white strip of the Nigerian. Potentially another change forcibly needing to be made for Gennaro Gattuso. As we might be seeing an introduction of Davide Fratesi, the man on loan from Inter Milan. That would be a real notable introduction as well for him, for Davide Fratesi, making his competitive league debut for Lazio this evening. It's Fisayo Deli Bashiru just dragged up to his feet. And that change seemingly yet to be made. Fratesi readying himself now to come on for the Nigerian. really excellent addition to the Lazio squad this season as well in Davide Fratesi. Italian international, a real ever-present worker, box-to-box midfielder as well. On loan from the champions. Now entering the field for the first time in Lazio colours for the opening game of the 2026-27 season. Still a change yet to be made for Domenico Tedesco. 3 changes made of the 5 for Gattuso. This play will resume with a drop ball laid off down towards Helland, squaring to his Norwegian compatriot in Hegem, midway inside of their own half. 1-2 between the Norwegians and played out to this nearer side to Zaretta. Lazio continuing to put the pressure on Bologna further upfield. As Jan Ergaard's turned cutely away. Wonderful footwork from the Dane, finding the nearby pass of El Azzurri, carrying the ball to the right-hand side towards Orsolini, in towards the box, laid off towards the edge of the D. Who can get there first? Ferguson can't, giving away the free kick, tripping Taylor in the process, as Lazio win themselves a free kick. Lewis Ferguson just a little bit late there in the end. And a free kick being given, this live unofficial audio coverage of the penultimate game of the opening weekend in the Italian top flight. Bologna 0, Lazio 0. With the game also available via local broadcasting stations as well. As Fisaio Delibashiro is still slowly trudging around the perimeter of the field here at the Stadio Renato Dallara. Still a fair bit of a walk to go, but he will go past that pocket, that corner of Lazio fans that have made the 189-mile journey as the crow flies from the capital to be here this evening. With the tensions turning back to the capital after this game. Roma at home against Fiorentina. Many feeling, as said in the first half, that Roma are a side to be considered a true threat and a challenge for the Italian title this season. Got the Champions League to consider, or the big consideration this coming season as well. But they will also have their sights set on a Scudetto, something they haven't won since the 90s as well. It's been a long time coming for the capital to call themselves kings of Italian football. That one very much going towards Turin and Milan's major sides, as well as spatterings of Napoli's glory over recent years. Ball sprayed out for his accent to try and get there first for his first touch. Miranda intercepting, going out for a corner for Lazio. Their first corner to be taken on the further side of the field in this second half. Miranda just sticking a big foot out in the end. And so a chance then for Lazio to try and remedy a big spell of pressure that they've had to face inside of their own box in the start of the second half. As we are nearing the hour mark of the game. And the tall towering figure of Profsgaard and Doki notably up here as options for Lazio. Both of them 6'4", notable targets lingering around the penalty spot. This one now swung deep towards the back post. Profsgaard heading the ball back down, deflected out for yet another corner off the foot of Zaretta. And this corner to be taken on this nearer side. Profsgaard just moving away himself. And it is going to be the captain then, Zaccagni, to take this corner. This will be right-footed ball swung in towards the goal. Again, the two towering centre-backs moving from the spot in towards the box, punched away by Skorupski. Zaccagni looks to keep the ball alive and does just that, carrying the ball in towards the box, chipped into the area, looped, header, and just over the bar though, not dealing or troubling Skorupski whatsoever, going out for the goal kick as Floriani rising highest. But the header far too lofted and catching the very back of the net, top side of the net as well. Goal kick taken quickly enough. Bologna cheaply giving the ball away there from Ergaard, straight towards the feet of Ravella, carrying the ball from this near side to the centre of the Bologna half. And now down with Fratesi for his first few touches in Lazio colours since coming on for Delibashiru injury just moments ago. As Doki squares to the left towards Profsgaard. Inside of his own half, on the deck to the left-hand side of the field, carrying the ball from that touchline, Zaccagni. With a cross-field ball to the right, finding Isaacson. Ball underfoot, underspell from the Swede into the captain, Zaccagni. Wonderful low driven ball out towards Floriani to the byline. Big interception with a big foot in front from Miranda, going out for a throw in for Lazio. Now it's their turn to put pressure on Bologna in this second half. Turning cute from Fratesi. Dia laying the ball on. There's the Lazio chance and there's the Lazio lead. And well, look who it is. It's the super sub. It is Davide Fratesi, showcasing his talent, his expertise and his willingness in the run. Working the 1-2 with Boulay Dia in the further side of the box. And the new man on the field, one of his first introductions is to slide the ball underneath the Polish international and into the back of the Bologna net. And the score now here on the 59th minute is Bologna 0, Lazio 1. What an introduction for Davide Fratesi, with arms raised, fist pumps towards those travelling supporters from the capital. A cute backheel flick from Boulay Dia in towards the box. And it was Fratesi initially with the knock-on first time 1-2 pass back to Fratesi. Cute finish underfoot. Showcasing exactly why he is the real marquee signing for Gattuso this summer. On loan from Inter Milan. And with that, a number of changes to be made from Domenico Tedesco as well in response. And it is going to be Orsolini coming off, the captain for Bernardeschi. There's going to be 3 changes made in quick succession as well. We are also going to see Dovbyk coming on. So 3 changes made. No waiting around at all for Tedesco, as he will look to try and remedy going behind there just before the hour mark. Piccoli, the other player to be replaced now, the big Ukrainian Dovbyk on the field, the man arriving from Roma in the summer. And what he would give to try and lay a bit of pain and misery in the former rival of his as Lazio look to come again. Cambiaghi, the other player replaced by the Englishman Jonathan Rowe. Many feeling that there's a chance he could move on. This might be his last involvement for Bologna this season. A number of clubs looking at the energetic Englishman playing out wide. So those 3 changes made of Bernardeschi, Dovbyk and Rowe on for Orsolini, Piccoli and Cambiaghi. Straight swap of the 3 up top. But Davide Fratesi's introduction, the big difference maker, coming off the bench in place of Fisayo Deli Bashiri's injury and connecting wonderfully in the box with Boulay Dia. Cute 1-2 passes back to Fratesi, first time strike under the Polish international. Bologna now look to mount a sponsor immediately with a completely changed front 3. Here is Rowe switching the ball into the box, but no direction whatsoever. Completely getting the other side of where Bernardeschi was running to. And that one going out for a goal kick for Lazio. Well, Lazio, they were 2-0 winners here last season. Kenneth Taylor scoring a brace in that game, and the referee there just telling the goal kick to be taken quickly enough. Again, the punishment for that will be a corner given to the opposition and allowing play to continue as Lazio look to break up the right-hand side. Floriani striding up that right-hand touchline, squared infield towards Dia, switching the ball out to this nearer side towards the captain Zaccagni. Edge of the box, shot from range and going down low, rifled to Skorupski, just taking 1 touchdown to gather the pace. But in the end, dealt with comfortably enough by the man between the sticks for Bologna in bright luminous yellow this evening. As Davide Fratesi has now gone down himself, just holding his knee. This would be quite the introduction for Fratesi, coming off the bench for an injury, scoring a goal. Fratesi just feeling the full force of that full-blooded tackle from the now captain Lewis Ferguson. Now back up to his feet, Davide Fratesi, moving a little bit gingerly there, just hopping on that right foot of his. Potentially needing some treatment as well there, Davide Fratesi. But his goal so far, the difference maker on the 59th minute. The throw-in from Floriani with the cute 1-2 footwork between himself and Boulaye Dia. And then just guiding a ball tucked beneath Skorupski and into the back of the Bologna net. Lazio leading on the opening game. Bologna now staring down the barrel of 17 opening games of the season with just 2 wins to their name. This would be their 10th defeat of all of those, but that's a long ball laid up towards Bernardeschi, keeping the ball alive off the byline, but a big touch in the end being given away, and it is going to go out in the end. Well, the referee looking to the assistant on this near side, potentially claiming for an offside to come for Bernardeschi, and it looks to be that way as well. With Pedrazza just having a quick look over to the assistant on the near side, wondering when the flag was going to be raised, which it was then done, as Fratesi now is just waiting to receive his orders to come back onto the field from Fabio Moresca, the referee in the middle. That new law that's come into play for the new season is that when a injury is being given, a player has to come off. They have to wait a full minute before coming back onto the field to check that it's a genuine need for a player to go down. That one a change that's being very much welcomed across the footballing community. It's the free kick now sent long up towards Dia, rising highest but not quite as high as Helland, and giving the ball away easily for a Lazio throw-in. This one around 5 yards behind, being level with the penalty area on this nearer side in the Bologna half. This live unofficial audio coverage of the penultimate game of the opening weekend of the Italian top flight from the Stadio Renato Dell'Aria, with the sun now fully setting here in Bologna. Floodlights shining brightly down on the field. Bologna 0, Lazio 1. Davide Fratesi on his competitive debut in the domestic league, giving Lazio the lead on the 59th minute. Bologna themselves then winning a throw-in on the halfway line on this nearer side of the field. 3 changes apiece as well. Domenico Tedesco taking no chances as soon as they went behind. 3 changes, all of which attacking ones made in quick succession, with Bernardeschi, Dovbyk and Rowe entering the fray. Dovbyk making his competitive debut for Bologna this evening. The summer arrival on loan from Roma. They themselves will be kicking off after this game at the Stadio Olimpico. Bologna finding themselves behind midway now through the second half, as Lazio do win themselves a throw-in, thrown towards Ravella, operating in the middle of the park for Lazio, seemingly not put a foot out of place as of yet. But that one cannoning off, and a bit of poor play between Dia and Profsgaard in the end, going out for a Lazio throw-in midway inside their own half. Bologna now on the ball in the centre of the park with the captain Ferguson, one of a number of Scottish players plying their trade here in Italy. McTominay's Napoli, a victory for them on the opening weekend. What do Bologna have to say in a form of response to going behind? There was some good pressure from Bologna at the start of the second half. First half it was a bit wayward for Bologna, no real chances of any threat. But it was a good start to the second half here for the home team. But since going behind, they've had very little to show for it whatsoever. Not quite finding the big figure of Dovbyk there. That ball laid far too aggressively on for Christos Mandas to collect with ease inside of his own box. And a bit muted now around the stands of the Stadio Renato Dell'Aria, with the Lazio fans continuing to be buoyant in that corner of the field. Boulaye Dia just going down. The referee continuing to allow play to continue, and he will let that happen as Floriani carries the ball underfoot midway inside the Bologna half up the right-hand channel towards Isaacson. There's Ravella now playing a 1-2 pass in the end, with Fratesi the goal scorer. Squared out to this left-hand side, Pedrazza having to come across and chase to keep the ball alive in Lazio white, and doing just that. Zaccagni, the captain, big interception, but a big foot in front, going out now for a Lazio throw-in, and we are going to see another change, and it is going to be Emil Holm coming on in place of Nadir Zareta. So the fourth change now of the evening for Domenico Tedesco, looking to try and rescue something here on the opening weekend of the Italian league season. Emil Holm, the Swedish international, entering the field. Man who spent last season on loan at Juventus. As Isaacson keeps the ball alive deep in the corner of the further side of the Bologna half, still looking to come with Dia on the ball, squared short towards Ravella. Ravella finds Floriani on that right-hand side, just keeping the ball amongst themselves, waiting for Bologna players to come onto them at the moment, Lazio. Carrying the ball on the deck, either underfoot or through passing at the moment. Wonderful piece of passing. This at the moment, though, from Lazio. Brilliant play now with the captain Zaccagni off the edge of the D. A shot under pressure, deflected out wide, and Isaacson looks to keep the ball alive and does just that. Low, into the near side of the box. Fratesi charging in, but a big interception in the end. Ferguson, though, cheaply giving the ball straight towards Floriani. Into the box, played inside, cannoned off the chest of Miranda, and going out for a corner for Lazio to be taken on the further side. As Lazio looks to try and amp up further pressure. Searching for a second that could be really damaging for Bologna. Not really yet to get out of the blocks at the moment at the start of the season. And a second goal here would put real pressure under Domenico Tedesco and the Rossoblu. As the tall figures again of Doki and Profsgaard linger off the edge of the box, this ball to be swung in towards the goal, deep, high, to the back post towards Doki, who can't quite get there in the end. Was that one taking a deflection? Doki feeling that one should have gone out for a corner, straight towards the referee. Zerdgar's rising highest, and it came off of the head. Well, it seemed to have come off the head there of Bernardeschi, so you can understand why Danilo Doki was insistent that one should have gone out for a corner, but the referee now calling players over for the second half cooling break. It's been a warm day in Bologna. Even with the sun setting, it still is in the high 20s at the moment. Temperatures of around 27 degrees. Now into the final 20 minutes of the game here, the penultimate game of the opening weekend of the Italian league season. Bologna 0, Lazio 1. Davide Fratesi working with Boulaye Dia into the box with a first-time finish, marking his debut for I Biancocelesti. So far, everything according and going to plan for Gennaro Gattuso and those travelling Lazio supporters. Their next game will be at the Stadio Olimpico. That will be against Genoa. We'll see exactly how many fans will be in attendance for that game in particular. Just 6,000 fans it was estimated to be at very most in their Italian Cup game last weekend, that 2-0 shock defeat. The fans in protest there against the owner Claudio Lotito, who purchased Regina earlier this year in June. So there's a likely sale of Lazio potentially coming then with that in mind, and the fans refusing to enter the Olimpico as season ticket holders until that change has been made in the powers that be seats from the blue side of the capital. But good travelling numbers here from those, and at the moment it's going to be a nice journey back down to the Italian capital for themselves as Bernardeschi turns on a dime cutely away from surrounding players inside of his own half. Bologna still with a little bit of work to do, but instead now finding Jonathan Rowe carrying the ball in towards the Lazio half, but a sprayed ball far too aggressive down on the deck behind Bernardeschi, easily gathered enough in the end. gathered up by the Greek international Christos Mandas, still yet to be truly troubled. Just one good opportunity from Jen Ødegaard with a header with a real lack of any form of power. That the only chance of some note for Bologna in this game. And as it stands, Lazio seemingly the ones taking all 3 points on the opening game. Here is Ødegaard now, though, midway inside of the Lazio half. 1-2 with El Azuzi, making his debut tonight for Bologna. And back on the ball after receiving a short pass squared by the captain, Lewis Ferguson. Rowe under pressure from Ravella. Ball back in towards their own half now. Towards Hegem, squared towards Helland, under pressure from Kenneth Taylor. Scored a brace last season here for Lazio, that 2-0 victory, and it seems to be yet another victory coming. This would draw in the overall stakes. It means 61 wins per side in this fixture. This the 167th meeting between the two teams. 61 victories for Bologna to the 60 for Lazio. So this one would draw all things level, but that's been poorly given away as Bernardeschi picks up on the ball, carrying the ball to the D, brought down off the edge of the area, and we are going to see a free kick in a position of some danger here for Bologna to remedy the something and get themselves back level. It's Christos Mandas clearing the ball away under some pressure, but straight to the back of the head of Jen Ødegaard, with the ball bouncing kindly towards Bernardeschi, carrying the ball towards the edge of the box and brought down off the edge of the D there by Pedrazza. And so a chance now for Bologna to draw themselves level here from a free kick, this one a couple of yards from the box off the right side of the D. Bernardeschi has currently stood over this free kick, the man that won this opportunity. Christos Mandas just clutching his near post, arranging what seems to be a 4-man, 5-now-man wall. The draft excluder waiting to lay down and claim his spot. So it's going to be a 4-man wall with 1 man laying behind. Lewis Ferguson stood over this free kick. Bernardeschi around 4 yards to the right-hand side of the ball. 15 minutes to go of the regulation 90. It is going to be Bernardeschi stepping up, left-footed, low around the post. Oh, and it's so close to being a leveller, around the wall, catching the outside of the post and going out in the end. And I believe as well that Christos Mandas might have got a hand on that, and it's a wonderful save from the tall, towering Greek goalkeeper, pushing the ball wide for a corner. Gloriously struck free kick low. Bernardeschi again now on the ball, left edge of the box, taking it to the byline, chipping the ball to the further side of the area, low down, in towards the box, but cleared off the line there. Helland not quite getting enough conviction on the connection. As Lazio clear their lines and away. Miranda, dinked ball up to the left edge of the box towards Bernardeschi again, looking to try and cause further issues, trying to amp up the fans in the stand towards that they are attacking. Davide Fratesi clearing the ball off the line there in the end. So Bernardeschi looks to be the one to take ownership of this corner. El Azuzi also nearest to. Fratesi just keeping a close eye. This corner to be taken swung away from the goal. Dovbyk, the most notable tall, towering option, as well as the 2 Norwegian centre-backs in Hegem and Holland. Helland there just moments ago. His volley, not quite enough pace in it to get the better of Fratesi. The corner now low to the near side of the 6-yard area. Bouncing now to Jonathan Rowe. Swiping down his Mandas, clearing the ball away. And now Lazio with a chance to potentially catch Bologna on the counter. Sending the ball up to the right-hand side of the field. Isaacson looking to get there, but easily intercepted by El Azuzi. Keeping the ball alive and in play just about from that touchline. But again, cheaply given away from Bernardeschi as Lazio look to try and get themselves on the ball, and it is going to be a throw-in in the end, but the referee stopping to allow this substitution to be made. Christos Mandas needed to be called upon twice in quick succession. Always the way with a goalkeeper, seemingly having a quiet game. But when the time is right, they need to be called upon, and he was doing just that, denying Bernardeschi with his free kick. And then just then with Jonathan Rowe looking to pounce. And that one's so nearly going their way, and we are going to see a change coming for Lazio, and Bouladia is now making his way. A strong debut for him. So Bouladia is one of the players to be replaced by Noslin, seemingly now playing as a wider option. So Noslin coming off, as well as Tavares coming on. So all 5 changes now made for Gennaro Gattuso, and it looks like we're going to see a final change being made as well for Tedesco. And it is going to be El Azzouzi. His debut, his race has run for yet another debutant in Amandarian. So Amandarian is on the field. All changes now made. This is the complement that will see this penultimate game of the opening weekend of the Italian League season to its conclusion. Lazio very nearly under some pressure early on then. Pedrazza, the other change made by Gattuso for Tavares in the end. And Lazio do find themselves in front as we approach the final 10 minutes of the regulation 90 here in Bologna. Fratese's goal on the 59th minute, that one the difference maker so far between the two sides, as Tavares gets his first touch in field, but easily picked up by the captain Ferguson. And is there one final say or two left in this game? As Bernardeschi takes a chest down under real pressure though, looping high, dropping to anyone. Lazio looks to pick up on that ball and do potentially win themselves a free kick here in a position of some threat, as Fratese wins that free kick right off of the D, sticking his body in where it usually can hurt as well, and feeling that full connection. Amandarian's first introduction in the game is to give away a free kick in a position of some threat here. Well, you'd have to think if Lazio were to find a way through from this free kick, that might just be the sign, seal and deliverer back to the capital with 3 points for them. Yeah, this live unofficial audio coverage of the penultimate game in the Italian opening weekend of the season. Bologna 0, Lazio 1. With the game also available via your live broadcasting local stations as well. It's Skorupski's turn to try and lay the foundations of a wall of some conviction. It looks to be a 4-man wall for Bologna. Ravella stood over this one as well as Zaccani, as well as Tavares, but it is going to be struck by Ravella, but high over the bar, nowhere near as threatening as the effort from Bernardeschi just moments ago. Into the final 10 minutes here now at the Stadio Renata dell'Aria. Do Bologna have some form of a response to get themselves back into this game with a positive result that they would so desperately look to try and utilise? Driving up the left-hand side now, in towards the box, laid off towards Erdgaard, but a big tackle in the end there from Zaccani. Still Bologna look to come with Holm. Holm into the box, big header by Profsgaard, only as far as Ferguson. Still Bologna look to come, right edge of the box. Bernardeschi opening up a shot from space, but always catching air and nothing but more as soon as it left the left foot. Bernardeschi face to the Bologna heavens, head in hands, opening up space but not getting any form of a clean connection whatsoever. Artem Dovbyk still yet to really be found in this game, the big Ukrainian on loan from Roma. Home now with a wonderful driving run up this right-hand side, midway in towards the Lazio half, jinking the ball away from Tavares, short squared back towards Erdgaard. In towards the centre circle now towards Ferguson, laid off to the left towards Hegem, carrying the ball underfoot towards the left-hand side of the field, squared towards Miranda. Number of players surrounding in Lazio white, now with Ferguson, laid up towards the box, but a big interception in the end there though from Ravella, looking to carry the ball away, but an arm stuck out, and there's going to be yet another yellow card being issued here and brandished by Fabio Maresca. That one for the pullback on Fratese. Certainly been in the action, Fratese, since coming onto the field. As it is Jen Erdgaard, believe the one to receive the yellow card there. Fratese coming on minutes later, finding the goal, the only goal so far in this game, and he's been through the wars a little bit as well in the game. as Lazio do win themselves yet another free kick, and yet another yellow card has been brandished by Fabio Maresca. This free kick for Lazio a couple of yards from the right corner of the box. This time Hegem the one to receive the yellow card. It's the 7th card of the evening. Hegem just pulling down on Isaacson. Surely very little by way of any form of protest from the Norwegian. Just 6 minutes to go now of the regulation 90 here in Bologna. Tavares and Zaccani on the ball. It is going to be the captain to take this free kick, with a line of players level with the penalty spot. Jonathan Rowe stood nearest to as an isolated wall. Right footed delivery to the further post, but Holm looking to guide the ball away. Under pressure now from Nosling, keeping the ball in play and doing brilliantly there as well. Wrestling away with Holm, but the referee spotting the foul in the end. A free kick for Bologna deep inside their own half on this nearer side of the field. Bologna finding themselves a goal down at home, staring down the barrel of yet another winless opening game of the Italian League season. But what a response this would be for Lazio after that exit in the Italian Cup, that 2-0 defeat at home last weekend. Just 6,000 fans in attendance. But this a much more positive look for Lazio. Off-field dramas taking a back seat for 90 minutes. For Lazio at the moment in the ascendancy on the opening game of the season. For the final game, Roma versus Fiorentina, bringing match week 1 of the Italian League to its conclusion later on this evening. Bernardeschi just tripped down in the end from Isaacson. A free kick for Bologna inside of their own half off the centre circle. 85th minute, Bologna 0, Lazio 1. 4 minutes of time added at the end of the first half. Surely at the moment a similar number at the end of the second. But we will soon find out what number Ermanno Feliciani holds aloft above his head between the two dugouts here. Here's Holm now, 15 yards inside of the Lazio half, sending a ball up the right-hand channel. Dovbyk going down under no pressure as Doki looks to shield the ball away. Still in play as Doki swipes the ball under pressure. Wonderful work rate that, though, from Jan Erdgaard. Just forcing Doki to need to do a little bit of extra work there in stopping any potential threat for Bologna. As Helen squares in field towards Hegem. Ferguson played out to the left-hand side, just about inside of the Lazio half, finding Rowe. Rowe with a good opportunity, but swiped away by Christos Mandas, who's been solid between the sticks for Lazio in this second half in particular. Holm looking to latch onto the loose ball, played upfield, but picked up instead by Amodarian into the box, but low header away from Prosgaard as Lazio look to try and catch on the counter now with Tavares charging up this left-hand side, looking to take on Bernardeschi, but a heavy touch in the end though from Nuno Tavares, going straight out of play. Amodarian picks up on the ball, squared towards Hegem. It's all getting a little bit more desperate now out there for Bologna, scrambling to try and get themselves onto the ball, far more aggressive in trying to win the ball back. Lazio so far pinning Bologna deep inside of their own half. Those bright white shirts catching the floodlights here at the Stadio Renato Dell'Ara, seemingly everywhere as well. Long ball played up the field for Bovbik to chase, but Doki getting a big foot in the way in the end on the Ukrainian, going out for a Bologna throw-in. And that one taken quickly, thrown all the way back towards the captain Ferguson, 10 yards from the halfway line, inside of the Lazio half. Surrounded by 3 Lazio players. Excellent shutdown all evening long from Lazio as well. Definitely taking a leaf or two out of their manager's book by the way he used to shut down aggressively as well, whether that be for Italy or for AC Milan. Always a really notable, hard-working aggressor in the middle of the park. And he certainly brought a little bit of that playbook to Lazio at the start of this season. Bernardeschi, cue touchdown, coming in from the left-hand side. Big foot in the way from Tavares, the referee allowing play to continue as Ravella tries to send a ball up to the further side of the field, but only finding Bologna shirts instead. Holm under pressure from Tavares, giving the ball away cheaply enough. Lazio once again looking to break. Bernardeschi still down as Tavares has been sent long up this left-hand side in towards the box. Holm with a big interception, but Skorupski gets there in the end, rolled down to the deck as Bologna look to try and get themselves back underway here into the final couple of minutes of the regulation 90. Erdgaard winning himself a free kick, just pushed down in the end, 5 yards inside of his own half. Just a little bit too aggressive there in the end from Kenneth Taylor. Lazio 1 goal to the good here, and that one cheaply given away by the captain as Taylor now looks to carry the ball up himself off the edge of the D, played off to the right edge of the box, and now with Lazio with the chance to seal this one, but Davide Fratesi screaming, saying to Isaacson that he was a more viable option into the box. But the Swede just not quite finding that potential chance for Davide Fratesi to double his and Lazio's tally this evening. Isaacson with a poor connection in the end. Now into the final minute of the 90. Winning a free kick well there. Kenneth Taylor turning on a dime, allowing the foul to come in from behind from the captain Ferguson. Lazio get the game underway quickly enough. A second goal here would surely be the one that brings 3 points back to the capital for Lazio. Bologna pushing players a little bit further upfield, trying to put the pressure on to win the ball back. Tavares plays a ball up the deck towards the captain Sakani. 1-2 back towards Tavares, who's been lively and really stuck and involved since coming on around 10 or so minutes ago. As we're now seconds away from seeing how much time is going to be added by the fourth official, Emano Feliciani. Throw-in now to come from Emil Holm, launched up this near side, easily dealt with by Profsgaard in yards of space, and it's going to be 6 minutes of time added on, so 6 minutes for Bologna to get themselves back into this game, and 6 minutes for Lazio to hold on themselves and pick up a much needed opening game victory. As Bologna look to continue to put the pressure on, Lazio players just dropping that little bit deeper still. And can Bologna make this pressure eventually count for something? Ferguson, the captain, carrying the ball midway inside of the Lazio half to the left-hand side of the field. Brought down by the referee, allowing play to continue. Amordarian under pressure from Ravella. Still, Bologna look to come now with Jonathan Rowe. Wonderful footwork from the Englishman, carrying the ball away from pressure of Lazio surrounding shirts. Still looking to come, brought down off the edge of the box and winning a free kick. This one around 3 or 4 yards from the D. Wonderful work rate from Jonathan Rowe. Many thinking that this could be his last involvement or so for Bologna this season. A number of potential suitors keeping a close eye and tabs on the number 11. And this would be the perfect time for Bologna to find a way to level after Davide Fratesi gave Lazio the lead on the 59th minute, introduced 5 minutes into the second half, replacing Fisayo Deli Bashiru. There's a couple of players now surrounding this free kick for Bologna before the referee lays down the soon-to-be disappearing spray. Lewis Ferguson seemingly the most likely candidate for this free kick. Bernardeschi also another viable option. He too took a free kick just moments ago and struck aggressively to the wall. Lazio still trying to scramble and clear the ball away, swiped out towards Tavares to deal with, but the assistant's flag is raised on this nearer side for a foul there. Continuing protest coming, feeling that it was a bit too aggressive, maybe even a hand being used in the end there from Enid Helland. The hand did seem to connect onto the ball from the big Norwegian, but it was Emil Holm striking the ball with real venom, just catching the wall in the end, taking all the sting out of that free kick. So now into stoppage time, 1-0 to Lazio. Nearly midway through those 6 minutes of time added. Mandas sends a long ball high up this near side, easily won in the end from Helland. And do Bologna have any hope of getting themselves back into this game now with Rowe trying to break away, tripped in the process for yet another yellow card to be brandished this evening, and this one seemingly going towards Kenneth Taylor. As Jonathan Rowe looked to break away himself. I believe it might have actually been Nova Profsgaard in the end. 8th yellow card of the evening, 4 apiece for either side. As said before this game, Fabio Maresca had an average of just under 5 yellow cards last season. He's brandished 8 on the opener tonight. He's trying to make up for a little bit of lost time with cards in hand, it seems, as Bernardeschi squares short to the left-hand side. 1-2 back towards Bernardeschi. Bologna looking to break up themselves now. Can they find a dangerous ball into the box? Swiped away in the end there, though, from Noslin. Bologna, long, searching pass yet again. Wonderful tackle from Tavares from behind. Looking to release a ball long up the right. Ferguson taking no chances, clearing the ball from danger. And that one is going to go up for a Lazio throw-in just off the halfway line on the further side of the field. To the final 2 minutes now of the 6 minimum added, and not quite dealt with there as Noslin looks to break onto that poor jump there from Hegem. Hegem just getting there in the end, finding the pass to the captain Ferguson, carrying the ball away from the penalty area, squared to the deck towards Holm. And Holm back towards Skorupski. Surely this one only going one way, and it does go long in the end. Rowe and Dovbyk looking to put the pressure on, but brilliantly read by Profsgaard under serious pressure as Bernardeschi looks to keep the ball alive off the touchline, doing just that. Rowe turning on a dime, but straight into the Lazio shirts. The referee looking to potentially allow play to continue, but stopping in the end. Ravella winning the free kick for Lazio. Jonathan Rowe just going in from behind a little bit too aggressively in the end on the central midfield pivotal player in Nicola Ravella. Barely put a foot wrong all game long. Into the final minute now of the minimum 6 to be played here at the Stadio Renato Dall'Ara, this penultimate game of the opening weekend of the Italian League season, this live unofficial coverage, audio coverage. The game also available via your local broadcasting stations, as well as Bologna have themselves a throw-in midway inside their own half. Holm launching the throw long up the field, but straight out for yet another throw-in. And surely now it's just a case of Lazio getting themselves on the ball and seeing this one back to the capital. The Lazio fans in the corner of the stadium here continuing to wave flags and spin shirts overhead. But is there a chance now for Bologna late on here? Erdgaard out to the right towards Bernardeschi, low into the box towards Dovbyk, who can get there first? Big interception in the end as Lazio clear the ball away under pressure. But the resistance flag, I believe, might have been raised there in the end on the further side. Dovbyk just couldn't find a way for the ball to drop down to his feet, as Bernardeschi adjudged to have been offside when picking up that ball. Dovbyk, just a poor heavy touch in the end. Big brave defending from Floriani, Dorky and Profsgaard in the end. And the free kick being given, and surely that is the last of the action here from Bologna. All eyes now turning to the referee to see that whistle being drawn. Fratese's goal seemingly the difference maker this evening here in Bologna. Mandas sending the ball long, and there goes the referee Fabio Maresca's whistle, where it has finished here. Bologna 0, Lazio 1. Davide Fratese's goal, making his debut since his arrival on loan from Inter Milan. His goal the difference maker as Lazio head back to the capital with 3 points to their name. Bologna with little to show this evening tonight. And it is Lazio who find themselves a win here on the opening weekend of the Italian League season. An excellent display in the end, with Gattuso's players working hard every single minute of the game. and frustrating Bologna from minute 1 to minute 96. And now the final game coming later on this evening in the capital, Roma hosting Fiorentina, but it has finished here, Bologna 0, Lazio 1. Thank you all so much for joining us for this live, unofficial audio coverage of the Italian opening weekend of the season. And we look forward to bringing you plenty more now that the season is back underway here for the 2026-27 calendar. Thank you all so much, and wishing you all a very, very pleasant rest of your week.